Welcome to Ladies Group Chat, where the internet's mess becomes tonight's group text. Today's lineup has everything: suspicious skincare ads, reality TV mortgage chaos, and a true crime twist so wild it makes every bad ex story sit down. The Ariana Grande conversation is ugly because two things can be true at once. People are reacting to visible changes and real concern, and public body commentary can still turn cruel fast. What really stuck with me is the machine around a star this big. When a tour or album has hundreds or thousands of jobs hanging off it, the incentive is to keep smiling, keep styling, keep selling, even if somebody clearly needs a pause. That same compassion question came up with Perez Hilton after his mental health crisis. Even if someone has spent years being deeply harmful, treatment is still treatment, and basic humanity shouldn't be reserved for people with perfect records. I love that Stassi's new show is letting production be part of the drama. Show me the producer questions, show me the filming arguments, show me the cast choices. That fourth wall stuff is way more interesting than fake champagne tosses in a rented backyard. It also makes the family tension land harder because it feels less manufactured and more like, wow, you really did say that with a microphone on. On the flip side, Amanda Francis leaving Beverly Hills after one season makes total sense. Reality TV money is real, but so is the cost of being away from your kids and being nudged into conflict for content. And then there's Jax Taylor allegedly turning a roughly $2,000 mortgage situation into something like an $18,000 monthly burden after borrowing against it. That is the most reality TV sentence imaginable. That Neutrogena skincare ad looked like everybody involved just decided the audience was asleep. The before and after looked suspicious, the eye patches were barely doing their job, and the disclosure was messy. If that goes through an influencer, an agency, and a major brand, then congratulations, the failure is fully collaborative. That's the part that matters. Sponsorship is not permission to get lazy or misleading just because there's a logo on screen. Same with the Nara Smith tradwife mess. You cannot build a whole aesthetic around domestic simplicity while serving it on a silver platter funded by wealth, glam, production, and brand money. Then later go, actually, it was kind of a joke. People aren't mad because she baked something from scratch. They're mad because the fantasy keeps getting sold as ideology when it's really a luxury content business. The creator economy section of This Week basically said podcasting is not a side hobby anymore, it is a proper media business. Forbes has Joe Rogan at 82 million, Alex Cooper at 32, Giggly Squad at 18, and that spread alone tells you there are wildly different models for making this work. I also kind of love hearing creators admit when a format is getting stale. Pretty basic considering remote recording again. To get more intimate and timely, feel smart, not desperate. That's healthy. If the studio setup made you successful but now makes you stiff, change it before your audience can hear you going through the motions. One of the clearest themes here is that women are not accepting chaos just because a man is technically present. If women can provide for themselves, then the bar shifts. Emotional intelligence, reliability, honesty, actual partnership, that's the job now. And male accountability has to include calling out your friends when they lie, cheat, manipulate, or hide behind bro code, like it's a legal defense. I was also into the idea behind Dale Moss's dating platform focusing on routines and values instead of just drinks and vibes. Wellness dating can sound annoying, but selective matching around how people actually live makes more sense than another app full of shirtless men holding fish. Also, friendship breakups deserve way more respect. Those can wreck your whole emotional ecosystem in a way romantic breakups sometimes don't. Bella Thorne's story is brutal because it shows what happens when a child becomes the breadwinner before she's even old enough to understand the paperwork controlling her life. Her mother being both parent and manager under financial pressure created a setup that was almost guaranteed to explode, and by 18 she was reportedly leaving home without basic ID, bank access, or normal adult knowledge. Then add being sexualized as a teenager, and later having to release her own nude photos to take power back from a hacker. That is a horrifying version of reclaiming agency. But it was still agency. The encouraging part is hearing her talk about therapy, boundaries, slowing down, and moving into writing and directing. That's what reclaiming authorship sounds like. Janelle Monáe had one of my favorite frameworks in this batch of stories. Calling the age of pleasure a soundtrack to a lifestyle makes sense when the whole point is joy, safety, movement, and being in your body instead of performing respectability for strangers. And the phrase coming in instead of coming out is so elegant. It puts disclosure back where it belongs, with the person choosing what part of their private world to share. There was also a strong through line about breakups teaching you where the wound already was painful. Yes, useful. Also yes. Hollywood still cannot quit nostalgia, and I'm tired on behalf of every original idea sitting in a drawer while another reboot gets a teaser announcement. That's why a weird swing like Wicker sounds refreshing. Give me something strange over the 15th revival of a thing we already loved in 2012. Meanwhile, Spider-Man opens to $355 million and reminds every studio executive that franchises are basically a controlled substance. And the reported Barbie sequel stall over salary fights for Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling after a $1.4 billion movie is such perfect studio behavior. Everybody wants sequel money without paying sequel prices. The Uber priority delivery issue is exactly why people feel gaslit by apps. If I pay extra for priority and my driver is still apparently picking up other orders first, then what exactly did I buy besides a mood? That same fake status energy shows up everywhere now, from VIP nonsense to premium add-ons that don't clearly improve the service. Brands keep monetizing urgency and prestige, then acting shocked when people stop trusting them. That Netflix documentary reveal is the kind of twist that makes you instantly rethink how easily a woman can be cast as the unstable villain. A pregnant woman is framed as the victim, the ex gets treated like the stalker, and then it turns out the husband, a US Marshal, allegedly orchestrated the deception and his current wife participated. That is not just a plot twist, that is an indictment. The most disturbing part is the institutional failure. The wrongly accused ex spent months in jail while investigators apparently failed to seriously interrogate the husband's access, the digital trail, and the obvious signs that the story didn't add up. It's a reminder that true crime is often less about one monstrous person and more about how eagerly systems accept a story that flatters their assumptions. That's it for today's ladies group chat. Please keep your skincare ads honest, your reality mortgages modest, and your group text absolutely active. This episode was generated by Podkey. Create your own at podkey.fm.